Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into a real cornerstone of personal development literature, David J. Schwartz's The Magic of Thinking Big. This one first hit the shelves back in 1959.
Yeah, and you really have to picture 1959, right? It wasn't written in, some downbeat era. This was the peak of the post-war boom.
Right, optimism was high.
Exactly. People really believed in the American dream, like truly believed that if you aimed high, you could achieve big things. Schwartz sort of captured that whole feeling in a bottle.
That's a great way to think about it. And Schwartz himself, he wasn't just some random guy. He was a professor, right? Georgia State University.
Mm-hmm. Taught business, personal development, and he was a motivational speaker too. So he saw this stuff from both sides, the academic theory and, the real-world application in business.
So his big idea, his central argument, it kind of pushes back against the notion that success is all about innate talent or like super high IQ.
Totally. He basically says, look, success hinges way more on how big you think and the attitude you carry. That's the magic he's talking about. It's all happening in your head first. It's about cognitive change, not some kind of wizardry.
Okay, so let's unpack that. If you're maybe thinking about a career change or launching something big, or maybe you just feel kind of stuck,
Yeah, stuck in a rut, maybe aiming low.
then this deep dive is definitely for you.
Yeah.
We want to take Schwartz's classic ideas and, make them practical for today. How can you actually use this stuff to shift your thinking and achieve more?
It really comes down to deciding consciously to think on a bigger scale.
Right.
Realizing that often the main thing holding you back is just your own internal limits.
Okay, so if the size of your success really is tied to the size of your thinking, like Schwartz says, then believe in yourself.
Yeah.
It's not just a nice extra.
No, it's the foundation. It's everything. If you mentally set your ceiling at, say, a level 5, your actions, your effort, it's all going to align with that level 5, even if you have the potential for a 10.
Makes sense. And he talked about the main enemy of that belief
Yeah.
pretty early on, right? Chapter 2.
Oh, yeah. He coins this fantastic term, excusitis, the failure disease. Love that.
Oh, yeah, it's memorable.
And he breaks it down into different types, like health excuses, I don't feel well enough, or intelligence excuses, I'm not smart enough, or age excuses, I'm too old, I'm too young.
We all hear those, or maybe even use them ourselves sometimes. Like, oh, I'd love that promotion, but I'm probably too old to learn all the new systems.
Exactly. And Schwartz just calls them out as huge, self-inflicted roadblocks. Take the intelligence one. He says often it's not about actual brain power, it's more about lacking motivation or maybe just being afraid to tackle something hard.
So what's the fix then?
He says focus on thinking and doing, not obsessing over your IQ score. And constantly remind yourself, my attitude is more important than my aptitude.
That attitude over aptitude.
Mm-hmm.
So powerful. So you tackle the excuses, you clear those out. What next?
Then you unlock this creative thinking. You start thinking bigger, dreaming bigger. You have to, really, because if you set a huge goal, the same old standard approach probably won't get you there. You're forced to innovate.
Which connects to that other big idea, chapter 6, right?
Yeah.
You are what you think you are.
Precisely. And it's not just a fluffy saying. He sees it as a feedback loop. If you deliberately cultivate this image of yourself as, capable and successful.
Like, do you visualize it?
Yeah, visualize it, believe it. Your subconscious starts working to make it happen. Your actions change, how you talk changes. You start tackling problems like the successful person you envision yourself being.
Okay, but hang on. A lot of modern advice, especially lately, focuses on tiny habits, right? Like 1% better each day. Schwartz seems to be pushing for these massive goals. Isn't there a risk you set something huge, miss it, and then just get completely demotivated?
That's a really important point. And yeah, it's where Schwartz kind of stands apart. He sees the bigger risk in aiming too low. If you only aim for what you already know you can do, you never find out what you're really capable of. Those big, ambitious goals, they force you to stretch, they activate that creativity, they demand commitment. They're like a magnet pulling you upwards.
I see. So it's about expansion, not just maintenance. And he says it's not just an internal game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your surroundings matter too.
Absolutely. Chapter 7, manage your environment, go first class. And that's not about, fancy clothes or cars necessarily.
Right, not just material stuff.
It's about protecting your mindset. Surround yourself with positive, ambitious people. Actively avoid the negative, small-minded folks, and strive for quality in everything, your work, your inputs, even the information you consume. If you're constantly taking in negativity, it's going to drain that big thinking energy.
That go first class idea feels really relevant now with like social media feeds and endless news. It's
Mhm.
about curating a first-class mental environment.
Exactly that. And all this thinking, this positive environment, it has to lead somewhere. Chapter 10, get the action habit. This is non-negotiable for Schwartz.
Ideas are cheap without action,
Bingo. You have to act decisively.
which means confidence isn't something you just wait around for, hoping it shows up.
No, you build it through action. You do the thing you were scared to do. Maybe you succeed, maybe you learn something, but you acted. That builds confidence. It proves your thoughts can become reality. It's a skill you cultivate.
And when you inevitably stumble, because you will if you're aiming high.
That's chapter 11, how to turn defeat into victory. Defeats aren't just possible, they're practically guaranteed if you're stretching. But they're just data. Learn from them, adjust your plan, but don't ditch the big goal. They're stepping stones.
Okay, stepping back a bit.
Yeah.
The really powerful theme here seems to be how democratic this idea of success is. It's not just for the geniuses or the lucky few.
Exactly. It's available to anyone willing to do the mental work, to adjust their thinking framework.
And does that theme stay consistent? Or does it evolve?
It evolves quite practically. The first half is very much about the core concept, think big. But then the later chapters really apply it to leadership, to relationships, sales, personal growth. It shows it's not a one-time fix, but a continuous process of applying this expanded mindset everywhere.
How does this compare to other big books in this space? Like Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich comes to mind. That also talks about the power of thought.
Good comparison. Both value the mind, definitely. But Hill's work gets into concepts like infinite intelligence, and there's a strong element of faith, almost spiritual connection driving things, especially wealth.
Right.
Schwartz is much more, pragmatic, secular even. It's about observable stuff. Cognitive restructuring, changing your self-talk, identifying excuses, taking concrete actions. It feels more like an operating manual for your brain in a practical, business-oriented way. Hill might require more of a leap of faith for some readers.
That makes sense. Schwartz feels more like cognitive engineering.
That's a good way to put it. And that pragmatism makes it feel timeless, right? The core idea that your attitude shapes your outcomes, that resonates across cultures and decades.
So let's get down to the brass tacks.
Yeah.
What are the actual strategies people can use?
Well, the main one is that foundational idea. Think big to achieve big. But, okay, how do you do that? How do you build the confidence for those big goals?
Yeah, especially when they feel kind of scary.
Okay, so first, detailed mental rehearsal. And this isn't just vague, positive thinking like it'll all be great.
Right.
It's visualizing the process. Let's say you have a huge presentation. You don't just picture the applause at the end. You mentally walk through handling tough questions, maybe a technical glitch, speaking clearly and confidently. You run the simulation in your head.
So it feels more familiar, less daunting when the real thing happens?
Exactly. It builds a mental roadmap. Second, he talks about fear-busting exercises. Literally write down your fears. Get specific. Then take small, deliberate steps to confront them. Afraid of rejection in your job search. Okay, this week, apply for 2 jobs you think you're slightly underqualified for. The goal isn't necessarily to get the job. It's to face the fear, maybe even get rejected, and realize you survive. You desensitize yourself.
So for daily life, it's not just about saying affirmations in the mirror.
Although that can help reinforce things.
Right. But it's more about setting small, actionable goals each day that are directly linked to that bigger, ambitious vision.
Yes. Tiny steps build massive momentum. And critically, you have to check in with yourself. Self-assessment is key. The book has prompts for this. Are you making excuses? Or are you looking for possibilities? Are you dwelling on the problem or instantly shifting to, okay, how do we solve this?
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here? The major shift in perspective.
I think it's that success isn't some fixed trait you either have or don't. It's a direct result of how broadly you allow yourself to think, combined with your willingness to actually do something about it. Action is crucial.
And the practical reminders.
Guard your mental environment like a fortress, seriously. Limit exposure to negativity. Always pivot to solutions, not problems. And communicate like you expect success. Speak with conviction, with enthusiasm. Project it.
Okay, but we have to touch on the potential pitfall, the ambiguity. If it's all think big, no excuses, isn't there a danger of, toxic positivity? Ignoring real obstacles.
That's the crucial nuance people sometimes miss. Schwartz isn't saying pretend problems don't exist. He's saying don't let a perceived limitation stop you from even trying.
Oh, yeah.
Eliminate the excuse first. Apply the big thinking. take the action. Then, if you hit a real wall, okay, reassess realistically, learn from it, adjust. But don't let the fear of the wall or the excuse about the wall prevent you from starting the journey in the first place. Always try, always push your perceived limits.
Got it. It empowers you to challenge those limits, both the ones you set for yourself and maybe the ones society implies. So thinking about that high goal, decisive action, here's a final thought for you listening. Think about one big goal, maybe professional, maybe personal, that you've recently dismissed as too ambitious or unrealistic. What's one single, small, manageable step you can take in the next 24 hours? Just one action that signals to yourself, okay, I'm actually going after this now. What step embodies that magic of thinking big for you?